What's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play. On this episode of the Jock and Nerd Podcast, Marvel Studios' world domination continues in the form of the first Avengers Infinity War trailer.
Geek Boner.
You're going to get our thoughts, theories, and predictions for the fourth Avengers movie. Plus, we dig into the recent Vanity Fair article about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got more Justice League news, HBO and the race for the next Game of Thrones. We answer an audio question from a listener and a whole bunch more, all on this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, November 30th, 2017.
Check one. All right. This is really fans out there. Let's give it up. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert.
What's up, listener? Welcome to the Geek Hangout. Welcome to another episode of the Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Jock and Nerd.
My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And he's the Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
What's up, motherfuckers?
How's it going? How you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
I feel pretty good, too. Thanks
I got a quick question
Okay.
to start the show.
Okay.
Really off the beaten path, but I feel like a lot of our viewers probably watch this because they're men living in their parents' basement.
Okay.
But did you guys at all watch or notice that they had two of like Jack Off Central's most watched shows ever this week?
Wait, Jack Off Central? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about they had the Victoria's Secret fashion show this week.
Oh, yes.
And they had Miss Universe in the same week.
In the same week?
In the same week.
Listen, I would be spent after that first one. I don't have enough energy to do a Miss Universe.
No, I ain't see it. That's not even on my radar.
It wasn't really on my radar, but then I was told about Miss Universe, and then a lot of my friends seem to watch both.
Really?
Yeah.
It seemed...
And I was like, wow, that's coincidental that they have them both in the same week. I don't know. I thought of that as the show was starting.
So the Victoria's Secret one is way hotter than the Miss Universe one, but I just feel like they've both kind of become irrelevant. Like, you don't really hear people talking about like a big deal, like it used to be a big deal.
I know people that watch that shit.
Yeah.
I know guys that watch
Who's hosting this shit now, wasn't it?
I think it's not on my radar.
The Miss Universe was Steve Harvey.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Because he's
I don't know who Victoria. I think Victoria's Secret fashion show is more popular here though. Like they had like popular people singing while the girls were walking around.
So that Steve Harvey is worth it just to see if he fucking gives the award to the wrong girl again.
Oh shit!
Because
the one thing I noticed, that's great. The one thing I noticed is all the girls had white girl names.
Okay.
On Miss Universe.
Okay.
I was like, what the, and they're all like, a lot of them spoke perfect English.
Did they have like two first names? Was it like a
no? But it was all like this girl's from the Philippines or like Thailand. Her name's Karen. What?
Okay, a lot of that. I see.
Yeah, a lot of like weird like. I think she's just of Thai heritage and from the United States.
They're really making it more America first.
I don't know why this came to my mind.
That's interesting.
It just did.
The Steve Harvey. Hopefully he can get the
Miss
right
Universe.
winner.
It was a Miss South Africa one.
Oh,
I
cool.
think. And she was like half Filipino and half something.
Ooh, that sounds hot.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Miss South Africa.
Yeah. If you're listening, Miss South Africa,
Right in.
Ask us a question.
We love you. Good for you.
Anthony's single.
Yeah, Anthony is a crush on you. No, that's a very weird opening question,
isn't it?
And if you are a new listener, you're probably confused why we're talking about the Miss Universe pageant. Rug Boy, do me a favor. Say we got someone of the listener this is the first time they're listening.
Okay.
What is it you would say you do here? To quote Office Space. No, really, what do you say? What would you say we do here? But I wanted to quote the Office Space.
I don't even know how to explain myself, but the show is we do news from the geek world, basically anything that's superhero related or comic book related or just pop culture, sci-fi related we usually get into. We do television reviews, movie reviews, Game of Thrones stuff, Walking Dead, and we basically just shoot the shit and we read
emails from our fans, and we just basically circle jerk each other.
Yeah, that's about right. The more
we do like to jack off each other. They had like double Dutch rudders.
yes.
All that.
The more graceful way to say it is using our slogan that I like to use is we give you comic book and superhero related TV and movie news reviews and occasionally interviews. But this show
I have not done an interview in so long.
It's been a while. We'll interview someone eventually, one of these days.
I hate everyone we interview.
That's the problem. Anthony's like, that person's not on the show. And I'm like, oh shit. All right. Moving on to the next one. Anthony, you got to be nice to the people.
I know. I'm sorry.
This show, look, if you've been living under a rock, you may not have heard that this is the new Avengers Infinity War trailer. Holy shit.
Geek Boner.
Dropped yesterday. This show, we're going to dig into this trailer. And we got a little bit of news about the DC universe and some Game of Thrones news. And then to finish out, we have an audio comment, an audio question from the listener. So as always, you can follow along. Visit our website, jockandnerd.com/197. There'll be links to videos and really awesome articles, everything we reference throughout the show. Let's get to the news, everybody.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
And if you want to get in touch with us, interact with the show, listener, visit jockandnerd.com/contact, where you will find our Twitter, our Facebook, our speak pipe where you can leave an audio comment, email. There's a little contact box. You can just type a message and send it to us, and you will find a link to our awesome Facebook group, our awesome Jock and Nerd Nation community on Facebook. Shout out to new members, Joe Cohen, TJ Johnson, join this week. Glad to have you. Now, TJ and the dude Jason from last week that joined, they are 2 or 3 of the members of this new podcast called Voice from the Underground that sent us a review. They left us a review. Remember, we read it. Ruggs, remember it was the passive-aggressive weird one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was them, but they're really cool.
Is that the guy that joined? And
yes, TJ.
like, I like what you've done with the place.
That's TJ. And Jason Mumert, who joined last week, he's also on the show. But we've done a promo swap with them. I sent them our promo. They have sent us
Are we
their
playing
promo.
theirs
We are
today?
going to play theirs later in the show. You will hear the
shit.
promo. And it's a fun show. The guys have good chemistry, and they're jock and nerd also. They talk about comic book stuff, but they like to talk about sports and politics and just everything. Good hang. Good chemistry. You will hear the promo at our promo break. So without further ado, let's dig into this fucking
Geek Boner.
Look, Marvel Studios just pre-came all over our face and chest. And what it is the Avengers Infinity War.
I know, I still haven't cleaned
trailer.
up. It's like dried up all over my chest.
I'm ready to break this shit down, to dissect it, to speculate, to theorize, to gesticulate, to masticate, to debate, and then at the end,
You gonna do the whole entire In Excess song?
yeah, that's that. Oh, that was the In Excess song. That's right. I was gonna pull that up in a
Anthony
second.
has no idea.
No idea. Excess is a nightclub in Las Vegas.
Oh, In Excess.
Put a
was
link in
great.
the show notes.
Link in the show notes to the In Excess song. It's great. Look, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the numbers. This has become the most viewed trailer of all time. 230 million views in the first 24 hours.
Plus news, reviews, and interviews.
Yeah, I think I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
I
Yes.
account for at least 15 to 20
Yeah,
of those.
10 or 15 of those was probably mine as well. It beat out the record that was held by, I think it was It. Yes, It had 197 million views in its first 24 hours. And it's like, it's the first comic book movie in years to hold the trailer views record. And it's 2 hours and 20 seconds of amazing 2 hours. I wish it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 24 seconds of goodness. Where do you guys want to start? Who wants to start?
Oh.
I don't even know what to say. I say let's just break down this thing fucking scene by scene. I've put some photos here.
I'll start.
Okay.
Just with initial reaction.
Yes.
I woke up when I think it came out Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Thursday morning. Sorry. Sat on the toilet. Was taking a dump.
It was Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Today's Thursday. What am
Yeah.
I talking about?
Yeah.
Wednesday, and watched it on the trail on the stool, and I was like, by the end of it, I think there was such a rush of emotion. I was like, man, I think I could start crying. Like that shot when where some of the heroes are running and the
Yeah.
Avengers theme plays.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this was the most spectacular trailer ever, but I don't know, just me loving what they've done with the Marvel Universe, and it's been 10 years in the making, and the fact
Yes.
that this movie is happening,
Yes.
it just was overwhelming.
Well, my whole take on it was, I think I watched it. I started watching it on my phone, and I was like, I can't watch this on my
No,
phone.
you can't watch this on the phone. What are you
So
doing?
I waited to watch it on a respectable size screen, and then I watched it, and I was like, wow. I'm like, this really looks like, something different. I mean, it looks like Avengers and everything, but at least it feels like it's pretty big in scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is cool. It did have a serious tone to it, and I like that it not going in. Hope it's not going in the Ragnarok direction. It's going in this kind of like dramatic, serious tone. Not like dark, but just dramatic.
Yes.
Like things are going to happen. You're going to be thrilled. The stakes are going to be realistic.
People gonna die.
Yeah.
No, look, what all you guys said, this has been 10 years in the making, and I'm watching this and I'm like, look at what the House of Feige has built. Like, look at this. This is an event comic come to life. Everyone's origins are done. Everyone's established. You can hit the ground running. This is an unprecedented feat. There's maybe 60 to 80 main characters. Like, I don't think there's ever been a cast this big. No one's ever attempted this. Part of me, like, is this even too big for the Marvel to pull off? I hope not. We're gonna find out. But wow, the music. Let's talk about the music. Like the narration in the beginning, and Nick Fury's Avengers speech, and then the different people are saying it, and then Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme. Holy shit! Like when Peter Parker's Spidey sense goes off with his hair, like that's how I felt the whole time watching the trailer.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's a
I
good
got
analogy.
fucking goosebumps all over. But I do agree, it's like it's more of like a long teaser than a trailer, because there's a lot of shots of just like people looking off and
Well, they
and
don't
running into
really
nothing.
need to do much
Yeah.
to get. I mean, as you see by the amount of views, I don't think they have to show any plot. Like if they went the next two trailers, because there'll probably be two more.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
we're
probably
6
one-
months out still.
Yeah,
Also.
well, they'll probably tag one with Black Panther, and then they'll probably put one out like a month before.
Yeah.
But if I were Marvel, I wouldn't put much out in terms of plot. I would just keep doing these teases because you don't need to do much.
No, you don't.
And I don't want to be spoiled for this movie.
No, I really don't. And it kind of has the effect that the Star Wars trailers have had on me. Is it leaves me wanting more, and it leaves me with so many awesome questions to like speculate and think about and be like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? So I think it works on that level. It's like a really long teaser. Where do you gotta start? Let's talk about Thanos. We get a good look at Thanos in a lot of shots.
Stone Cold Steve Thanos.
Stone Cold Steve Thanos with his muscle goatee.
Or
Looks like-
Chum-Li from the Pawn Stars.
Somebody, dude, the memes have been hilarious.
That's
Someone
pretty
turned
good.
him into Homer with like a donut in his hand, and he's like, infinity donut. But he's a different color now too. Like he's changes colors every time we see him. I thought he was bluer. He's a lot
he's
more
always
of a
been
redder
purple.
purple.
No, he
he's
was
been
more
blue.
purple. He's more purple now. He was more bluish.
He was more of a bluer purple. This is more of a redder purple in this trailer. But
I think he looks great.
I know, and so I was shocked to learn that he's getting a lot of shit about his look online. Like people go, "You thought Steppenwolf was bad, and now you guys."
That's DC fanboys.
Yeah, dude, this looks amazing. Like this looks a million times better than fucking stupid
That shot
Steppenwolf.
you have in the show notes.
Yeah,
I mean, that looks like Josh Brolin put on some makeup.
right. That looks like he's got prosthetics,
Yeah.
and he's got like even the fact, because like a lot of people are have been commenting on the no armor and the no helmet, and at first I was like, the helmet would make him look more intimidating, but Joe Russo has explained as he gets these stones, he gets more powerful. He doesn't need any armor. It just looks more confident, but without just having a bald head and no armor.
I think this is also a kind of like good move because we had Ares and we had Steppenwolf who had helmets.
Yes.
Yep.
I was just going to say that.
So
they
you
look
got to
the
kind
same.
of break
Yes,
away from
yes.
that now.
And you can argue it's harder to CGI no helmet than a helmet, because with a helmet you can
And
hover.
we had Apocalypse.
Yeah, everyone's had
Like we
goddamn
had all
helmets.
these weird fucking dudes, and like I'd rather no helmet than a shitty looking helmet. And then I wasn't really crazy about how he looked with all the armor on in those other teasers.
Mhm.
Yeah, a little bulky.
I think he looks more badass like this.
I think he looks. Yeah, I agree with Rugbo. I think he looks badass with the bald head.
I mean, he looks. It's confident. It's confident
if
for them
you
to be like.
look at Steppenwolf and you look at him and you think Steppenwolf looks on par or better, you were on serious drugs.
You need to go see an eye doctor.
Right.
Or you need eye drugs. All right, look, right away, the shot of Tony Stark in the orange haze, and he's holding a bloody hand, and he looks just all down and defeated. What sets an amazing tone? Who do you think that hand is? That's not his hand?
I got one.
Okay.
I think I know who it is.
Okay, who?
Spider-Man.
So I've seen maybe that it's Spider-Man because you see him get slammed. We know that there's going to be multiple deaths. There should be more than one major death in this movie. Other people are speculating maybe it's Pepper Potts. Maybe she gets killed.
Why would they kill off Spider-Man?
Because they have the time gem.
Yes.
And they can just fucking retcon it right back.
They can kill everybody.
They can
kill everybody.
do everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
By the end of this movie, everyone could be dead easily. And then because remember in Doctor Strange, he rewound time. They could just pull that shit.
Here's the plot reason why I think you could do it. Obviously, but you have to bring back Spider-Man eventually. But I think for plot's sake, to really break Tony,
yeah,
because he's already broken
between him and Cap.
Yeah, but he's looking at Spider-Man as like his protege, and if he was the one responsible for getting this teenager killed, I think that would just break him.
Yeah,
like storyline wise.
That's good because that's the last thing he was dealing with. That we saw.
And then what'll happen, which Rug Boy will probably hate, and so will Imran, is they'll bring back Spider-Man and have Tony killed, and then Tony will be Spider-Man's Uncle Ben.
What?
No, like that will be his Uncle Ben moment. Like, man,
no.
my Uncle Ben.
No, he's already had the Uncle Ben moment. They just
they didn't show it. It didn't happen.
Yeah, but that's how Spider-Man is created. It's happened. They have not referred to it or mentioned it at all.
That would probably be the worst shit I've ever heard.
Fuck. No, now you're really changing Spider-Man. Fucking, that's bullshit. They're not going to do that. You cannot do that. Okay, next shot.
Stop Zack Snydering this movie.
Yes, what are you doing? Next thing you see in the movie is Bruce Banner on a pile of rubble, and it looks like he has fallen from the sky through the Sanctum Sanctorum because of Wong and Strange are there. So I'm guessing this must have happened after whatever happened with the ship after the end of Ragnarok. With Thanos showing up, there's a battle. Bruce gets thrown back down to Earth. And then you see Paul Bettany as the Vision. Like in human flesh form. And there's a little glowy thing in his head. What's going on here? Is this a Mind Stone illusion? Is he fucking with their heads? Or can he now manipulate himself to be in disguise as a person?
That would be cool.
Because he made his cape, he can shapeshift and shit.
Yeah, sure.
Why can't he just make himself
look like
this person?
It still kind of creeps me out that they're going with the Paul Bettany and Scarlet Witch. Because
he's not
Vision
even
Scarlet
a
Witch.
sentient being.
Well, he's not only that, he's just way older.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Paul Bettany is, you mean?
Paul Bettany, the actor, yeah. I don't know. He looks old enough to be her dad.
I bet he was glad he didn't have to fucking put on makeup for every fucking scene. That's got to be a pain in the ass.
Speculation I saw online is that they made him, that he was able to do that because he hates sitting for 6 hours in makeup.
I would too.
And he isn't the most enthusiastic about making these movies anyways.
He's like, let me just do a fucking scene normal, will you bastards?
I don't even like doing this.
I don't even like doing this. Hello. Then you see Thor's back on a spaceship. Now, this isn't the Milano, the Guardian spaceship, and this isn't the ship that we last saw him on in Thor Ragnarok. So I don't know what's going on here. This is another ship Thor is on, and there's the ground is on fire through the windows. We see Banner next to Hulkbuster armor, a blonde Black Widow.
So there's speculation online that is actually Bruce Banner in the
Hulkbuster. So you see like updated Hulkbuster armor, but as we know, Tony doesn't have to be in these things to even have them operate.
That's true.
But it could be Banner in the thing because he's sitting next to the arm. Spider sense. All right, let's get to Spider-Man. We get to see what the spider sense looks like. The hair on his arms lifting up. I like it. I think
a little too late.
It's too little too late, but I think it makes sense. He senses, and then there's a big round weapon / portal fucking thing in the sky, which is in a lot of movies.
And then he puts on an iron spider costume, which is made out of metal.
Okay, so let's get to that, because I know Ruggs has feelings about the costume. The costume he turned down at the end of Homecoming. Clearly, he has accepted it. He's taken it. We see him jumping into the big... that big round thing reminds me of that ride in carnivals, that goes in circles. Remember, you've been to fucking the carnies where it's that really scary ride. And I have screenshots in the show notes here. I will put them in the show notes, jockandnerd.com/197.
Crotch?
What
Like
is-
it's concave.
So there's things I like and I don't like about this
Are
costume.
you seeing this, Imran?
Yeah, well, the
He has
CGI.
nothing going on in between his legs.
So there, okay, first of all, that middle shot where he's standing up, there's weird CGI running down the whole center of his body. It's all like caved in, like there's a groove. So I don't know,
Yeah.
that doesn't look, it just looks weird. And then he's smooth down there a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's a screenshot.
Ken
He's a
doll.
Ken doll.
He's a Ken doll. I like the glowy eyes. I
don't mind the design of the costume as
Yeah.
far as like the symbol and
Yeah.
and the way the red and that looks cool, but I don't like that it's like that metallic looking.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be armor.
Yeah, it looks too armory.
I appreciate the large spider on the
that
chest.
the large spider, is that a callback to, is it Ben Reilly's suit?
No,
Is Ben Reilly a character? Am I
yeah.
making that up?
No, Ben Reilly is one of the clones.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
Who,
thought it's a callback to someone else's
It
suit.
has it's a similar element.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because in Homecoming, his fucking spider was so small. I was like, why is it so tiny?
Well,
Make
now
it
it's
bigger.
big.
Now it's fucking huge. So I wish the suit was a little bit simpler, and I still don't like when they put shit in the blue parts. Like, what is all those faceting and lines? It's not necessary. But I'm all right. I kind of was digging it. The more I watched the trailer, I was like, the suit's kind of cool. Can't wait to see more. What gadgets? It's gonna have a bunch
At
of
first,
gadgets.
I was on the, man, that looks kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
that's too much and like a little too busy.
Yeah.
And the metallic and all, like, what is Spider-Man doing in a metallic suit?
Yeah.
As I've watched the trailer another 14 times, I'm like, okay, I can get on with it.
Now, I hope he does lose the suit eventually, and this just doesn't get to keep it. Like, I kind of hope
Yeah.
the suit gets completely destroyed.
If it's, I mean, it doesn't really bother me because he did wear an Iron Spider costume. It just didn't look like that.
No.
Well, would you have rather have seen the orange and yellow costume from the comics
No, it's
with the
not-
arms?
It's not that I want that.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool to be comics accurate. It'd be interesting. But I actually like this design. I just don't like how metallic it is. How like there you could see like kind of like you could see the metal.
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
it's got like beveling on it and everything.
So is it flexible or is it like rigid? It's hard. It's weird. It's hard to tell. Like when he talks, will it move? Like I don't know.
It just doesn't look right. It looks like a video game to me.
I could see that a little
It's like
bit. Yeah, I
not
could
like
see
this
that.
Iron Man. Even Iron Man's costume is bulky enough where you can believe it's armor.
Right.
And now this is like kind of like
It's very thin armor worked into
yeah. It just
whatever.
doesn't. It's just something about it doesn't quite work.
The glowing eyes is kind of like the suit he has in the comics now. His eyes glow because it's all full of fucking tech and shit.
Yeah, and I
in the
hate
comic.
this. I hate the
I know.
tech on
I know you
Spider-Man.
hate that. That's a Dan Slott. That's a Dan Slott inclusion. All right, then you got a scene. So we have like a New York team. You got a scene with Tony and Wong and Banner and Strange in the middle of a street in New York, and it's demolished. So we'll talk about who the team seemed to be afterwards. This next shot is interesting. You see a bunch of bodies and a pair of feet walking through the bodies. Speculation, and I think it's right, is these were the Asgardians. And they are all dead that were on the ship. I don't know how many of them survived. And the guy walking, one of the Black Order being Ebony Maw, I believe, because he's got like weird feet. And then you see Loki holding up the Tesseract. So that confirms Loki did fucking steal the Tesseract, which I think we all assumed it was that's what happened in Ragnarok. And then you get the first look at Thanos stepping out of a breach that kind of looks like a breach from the Flash TV show, but I'll allow it. It's early. They may still be working on the special effects. Thor in that round gate.
Were you expecting comments there, Imran?
No,
You asshole.
Do you have comments?
No.
Okay. What?
You paused after your joke and then just kept, and you're like, all right, no one laughed. I'm going to keep going.
What's Thor doing? Is he opening a portal, closing a portal? What the fuck's going on there? I like his
He's
armor.
showing off his muscles
He's
for the
showing-
ladies.
Is that just an elaborate workout machine for Asgardians to work on their biceps?
Yeah, I'd assume.
It's like a big elliptical. And then you see Proxima Midnight, real quick. Another Black Order. It's such a quick shot. She's throwing a spear. It's caught by a man in the shadow. And the line Chadwick Boseman delivers is so great. As Steve Rogers with a beard steps out. He's like, what does he say? He's like, engage your defenses and get this man a shield.
Assemble the defenses.
Oh, it's so
evacuate the city and somebody
yes.
get this man a shield.
Somebody get this man a shield. And
There's a lot of speculation online that Shuri, his sister, is going to invent for him an energy shield.
Well, and you also see in that scene where he's running in the forest, he has like these gauntlets that a lot of the Black Panther Wakandans have. So maybe it's like
some people have even like really looked at it.
Yeah.
And like they look at his right hand and it looks like he's clutching something, but
like he's holding something.
But obviously they took it out. Like as we know now in these trailers, they can edit things out and then put them back in the movies.
Yes, and sometimes people are added in the scenes we've seen. Yeah, so anything.
You think he's got the energy shield in the actual movie?
Yeah, that's a speculation.
Or
online.
the other shield?
Yeah.
Like in that shot, the shield could be up, and they're not showing.
He could be holding it.
And that's the other thing. Watching this trailer, like anybody could die. Anyone could come and go in any of these scenes, and we wouldn't even know. We get a good look Panther fighting the Outriders. Of course, every superhero movie has to have a nameless, faceless horde. See this a bunch of times, but these dudes look sick. They got lots of arms. They're really fast.
The Outriders are the aliens?
Yeah, those are like
those
the
are,
aliens.
That's the
Thanos'
parademons
army.
for this.
Exactly. It's parademons or Ultron's bots or the Chitauri. Every Avengers movie,
I hate that they did that.
Every one of these got to have, but there's a shit ton of them. And when you get, geez, there's so many things in here. Okay, the Vision getting his Mind Stone removed, that is believed to be Corvus Glaive standing on him. He's got clawed feet and a scepter similar to Loki's. So that's fucked up. He's probably going to die. He's got to die. Once they pull that thing out, won't he be dead?
Yeah. Oh, there's speculation that once he pulls that out, that the human version of him he becomes the human version of himself.
Oh, and that little
little
residual
thing is just the residual. Yeah. So there's two theories on that too.
And then we see Thanos putting one of the stones in his gauntlet. He has two, the purple one, the blue one, and then you see them pulling out the Mind Stone. That's 3 of the 6.
The purple one last time we saw, I don't know, I don't remember the names.
Here we go. I got where the stones are. The Space Stone is the blue one, also known as the Tesseract. Loki had it. The Mind Stone, the orange one, in Vision's forehead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reality Stone is red. The Collector, it was with the Collector, but his whole fucking place blew up. He must still have it. I don't know. Power Stone, purple. Guardians of the Galaxy left it with the Nova Core, and it's on Xandar. So we may see Xandar. We may even get an allusion to Nova flying around. And then the green Time Stone, Doctor Strange has it. The last one missing is the Soul Stone, which I believe is yellow, and maybe in Wakanda. What do you guys think?
A lot of speculation that is in Wakanda, because this is where a lot of the movie is occurring, and also that the Soul Stone is how Black Panther is able to talk to the old dead Black Panthers.
Ah, yes, in that scene where it's the purple sky and he goes, so hopefully they that would be, look, I'm even more excited for Black Panther, because if they're gonna reveal that we have the Soul Stone, holy shit.
I mean, it would make sense. It's hidden country.
Yes, that movie is going to be so important going into this movie. You got Bucky with a machine gun, so clearly he's been unfrozen from his frozen state.
He's also got his arm back.
Oh, he's got his arm back too. Yeah, somebody fixed him up. I wonder who that was.
It was the people from Wakanda.
Shuri. It was probably Shuri. And then almost this Game of Thrones-esque horde running towards the Wakandans. And in this shot, you see the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Captain America, Shuri, the Black Panther, the Hulk, the Falcon, and War Machine.
I actually don't think that's Shuri. I think that's
that's Okoye, the other one. That's Denai Guerrera. Yes,
that's that's Michonne.
That's Michonne. Yeah, that's Michonne. So there's your Wakandan team, and they're backed by a whole bunch of Wakandan warriors. That this little 3 seconds,
Geek boner.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's amazing. And then you get the final stinger at the end where you see Thor with his eye patch going, who the hell are you guys? And cue Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think that's why they delayed this trailer, because they wanted enough people to see Thor Ragnarok for the one eye reveal, maybe without spoiling.
Let me just reiterate that though. Who would have thought 10 years ago that the stinger at the end of the third Avengers movie would be Thor meeting the Guardians of
Holy
the
shit,
Galaxy.
dude.
Like, that's how popular the Guardians have been. Now they're the Stinger.
Holy shit. What an amazing piece. I still have lots of questions. Also, did you see Tony has the flip phone Steve gave him in one shot at the end of Civil War?
Right.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, where he's by the stairs and he has the fucking flip phone in his hand.
Looks like 3 settings in this movie
Yes.
so far.
Yes.
Wakanda, space, and New York.
Where's space?
Space.
Well, the Thor Guardians scene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then also the scene where it looks like either that's like a different planet where Thanos is fighting Iron Man and Spider-Man. Like that looks like a different planet.
Oh, you don't think that's on Earth? So here,
Or that might be Earth.
I'm giving David Malofsky credit for this one because he posted this on our Facebook group right away, and he's posted it everywhere. He says, my first prediction, 3 storylines, 1 in space, that's Thor and Guardians, like you said, 1 in New York City, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Banner's there, so maybe the Hulk. 1 in Wakanda, you got, like we said, Cap, Black Panther, Black Widow, Winter Soldier, Falcon, but the Hulk is also there. And this will all converge for the climax. He said posting this all over the web. So maybe the climax is, he's about to get the last stone and they have to stop Thanos from getting.
There's also
the last
speculation that Thanos beats up the Hulk so badly that he can't become the Hulk again, and that's why he's riding around in the Iron.
That's
Hulkbuster
why
suit.
he's in the Hulkbuster. Yeah, a couple of other theories. Like we said, do you think there'll be a Captain Marvel mention or appearance in this one or in 4?
Definitely in 4.
Definitely in 4,
She's,
probably.
Brie Larson's taking pictures with all the other actresses for that Vanity Fair shoot.
Will they?
Like,
So
it's been posted on Instagram, like all the girls of Marvel.
well, that's right. That was that was that Vanity Fair shoot where there was like 8. There was 8. They said there was 83 actors in total.
Jesus Christ.
In the photos alone, there's like 35 heroes in these photos. We'll get to the article. It's really good. Who do you think dies for good? Do you think Cap dies? Will the Hulk die?
They're probably gonna kill off Cap.
I wouldn't have thought anybody. I mean, I would have thought like maybe 1 or 2, but after reading that Vanity Fair article,
Right?
where they talked to Fahey, I maybe I'm just a sucker, but I honestly believe they're going to kill off a lot of characters,
Like the main guys, the guys who
and they're going to
from
go
the very
legacy
beginning.
characters following.
And then another thought, I saw this theory, could, with Spider-Man and space, could he get his black suit this way? Could they even work that in?
They probably won't, but it could happen.
Will we see Novas? Will there be any mention of Skrulls if they want to set up the Captain Marvel movie?
No.
That could be interesting. Also, the question I had after this, will this be referenced in the TV shows? Because we keep
No.
hearing about the incident. The incident. This is going to be way bigger than the incident. You don't think they'll have their version of the
I don't know
incident?
if this show's going to go on for more than a season before it goes away forever.
Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could be done after this season, but like the whatever future shows they make on their streaming service or whatever, that was another thought I had. What's interesting is all the
I don't
missing.
think they're going to really.
Are we getting any more Netflix shows?
Well,
I don't think. I think the ship has sailed on trying to connect the Netflix stuff to this.
so I know that Daredevil 3, Jessica Jones 2, Luke Cage Season 2 are all they're in some stages of production. So they're making those. Will those remain on Netflix? I don't know. Could they just pull them to their new streaming service for the new seasons? They could do whatever they want. But it is a joint Netflix Marvel production, and they are making more seasons.
Can I do a quick question?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are we on Punisher right now?
Oh, Punisher Watch update. That's good.
I'm 5 episodes in.
Okay, so I'm waiting for Anthony.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
I finished it.
I'll be honest. I probably won't finish it next week either.
Jesus. All right. Well, we'll get to the Punisher whenever
I have
Anthony.
to go out of town for work. So I
Okay.
don't
All right.
watch it.
All right. Well, it's not going anywhere. We'll
sorry.
get to
I just
it.
want to know.
I know. I'm gonna forget the whole show, but I will
I'm 5
refresh.
eps in, and I am enjoying it. I'll just go with that.
Okay. Good.
I'm not pissed off like I was with Iron Fist
That's good.
or even Defenders.
That's good. Look for the review in a couple of weeks, listener.
Couple more weeks. Sorry, sorry, Del Hauer.
He is just chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I know.
He's pumped, but that'll be a fun show. We'll get Matt Tellhauer on. So the San Diego Comic-Con footage that was shown, and we read the description, and part of it was leaked over the summer. I was expecting a little bit more of that stuff to show up in here. Here's what we didn't see. that was in that. How that whole thing about how Thor meets the Guardians splattered on the front of on the Milano, which was kind of funny. The scene with Star-Lord and Doctor Strange working together where he's making the little platforms. Star-Lord's running. The scene where Thanos is throwing like a part of the moon at them. Vision is locked behind bars. And then that one scene where Peter is like apologizing to Tony, which I think that's why we think he fucking dies right there. And that's Peter's hand.
That's
in the beginning. So, but look, amazing trailer. But I will say, Anthony, you said it when we started talking. What did you say? You're like, it could have been more. Like a slight part of me was like slightly let down that there was more in here. Now I know we're 6 months out. I would have liked a little bit of plot, just a little bit.
Imran, you're the asshole that is always like, why do they got to show the plot, the whole entire plot in the trailer?
Yes, I know.
Now you're asking for plot.
When I watched this, I was like, that was awesome, but like I wanted just a little bit more, but that's okay. But leaving you wanting more that's not a bad thing at all.
See, like, I'm not really worried. Like, just when I watch a Star Wars trailer, I'm not really worried that it's not going to deliver in some way.
Right.
Like, Star Wars Force Awakens, as much as people criticize it, it still delivered on being entertaining and fun and being memorable. And these Marvel movies, when they're done right, like Civil War and, the Captain America movies, pretty much, they're memorable.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about wanting to know what the plot is, or I just want to know that I want to see. Oh, all these people are going to be in this movie. Thanos looks cool. Okay. All right, I'm in.
Look, and the Russo brothers have not let us down, and I'm just glad, look, they got their comedies out this year. We got 3 comedies, fine. Now we're going to get Black Panther, a little more serious, and then this movie. And of course, I still expect the same, the comedy when necessary and kind of those dynamics, but largely the stakes need to be so large here.
I noticed there was something online that was kind of funny. I was like, I'm glad the Russo brothers decided to change their setting palette for all the action scenes, because if you notice from Winter Soldier and Civil War, about most of their fight scenes occur in parking lots.
They like in wide open, flat, concrete
parking lots. Like the airport battle,
that's true.
The chase scene with Black Panthers through a parking lot, and in Winter Soldier, they're fighting in parking lots.
Oh, there's a lot of parking lots.
Parking lots.
There's a lot of
Civil War starts out with a parking lot battle in Africa.
Right, yes.
All parking lots. So I'm glad they decided to change their. I think they did that because both Winter Soldier and Civil War are very that political feel.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of gray it out. But this one's obviously in a jungle and on space and in New York. So
yes, like amazing locations and wow. All right, let's move on to this Vanity Fair article. There's a lot of great shit. You kind of get Kevin Feige's origin in this, and you really realize that how important, and this guy's journey has been really great, but I pulled out a couple of interesting bits that I think are important. For example, what we were saying, who is going to die? They have said after Avengers 4, the following contracts are up. Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth, and Jeremy Renner. So I think some of them, if not all of them, may not make it out of the second Avengers movie.
I think Ruffalo will still be around because he doesn't have to do anything.
That's true. And there's
got the easiest paycheck to collect ever
for the Hulk. Or you mean
he just shows up, does some mocap, and then he goes home.
But he's Banner in this. We see Banner.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have to do anything.
Oh, he just acts like Ruffalo.
I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe again, like I'm a sucker, but I wouldn't be surprised if they killed off all the OG Avengers.
Yeah, I feel like they may kill off the OG Avengers because in this article he keeps saying after Avengers 4, we will bring things you've never seen in superhero films, a finale. He says, quote, there will be 2 distinct periods, everything before Avengers 4 and everything after. I know it will not be in ways people are expecting.
I think that they're not going to kill off everybody. That's retarded. Like, they will probably have everyone bow out. Maybe 1 person or 2 people will die, but they want to keep something in their back pocket.
They got 40 to 60 people already. You could kill 5. You still got a shitload.
I don't know, man. I think they're always going to leave the door open.
Yeah. Dude, Kevin Feige also, he's just a few years older than us. He's everyone keeps talking about in this article how he's a fanboy at heart. This was kind of where it all started. While in college, he got an internship for Richard Donner, did the Superman movie, and Lauren Schuler Donner his wife, and they're like the Snyders. And I believe the Nolans are like this too, where the husband and wife both
And
work
the
in
Snyders.
movies. And the Snyders, yes. So he ended up working for Lauren Schuler Donner, who at the time was a producer on the X-Men movie, and it was Feige was on the set, and he made the stylist go crazy because he forced them to tease up Hugh Jackman's hair so big and look ridiculous because he wanted it to look like the comic books. And that's kind of like where he started getting noticed that this guy knows, the IP and knows how to treat it fairly. And Avi Arad hires him and sends him to all these other studios making Marvel movies to manage their IP.
Well, what's distinguished Feige, in my opinion, from what Warner Brothers is doing, besides the fact that they just don't have a guy like that, is
Yes.
Feige's in charge of everything, and it seems like to me, and that he's probably read a lot of comics throughout his life.
He said he wasn't really into comics when he was younger. He was into, the Star Wars and the Indiana Jones. But I think by now he's all in.
Regardless if he's read them when he was a child, he's read them, I think. It's like Snyder or like a lot of the people at WB have done is I think at Warner or DC have done that are running the movies is I think they read just the popular ones. So
yes,
like
the big storylines.
Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, some of like the more popular Dark Knight stories or whatever, and then they just go off that. But you're reading the stuff that is the most popular, yes, but is like built off so much history.
You have to read the history.
Right, you have to read the history first to understand the character, not just read the most popular comic that was ever put out. And I think Feige can draw upon a lot more different comics when he's making his stories.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the Marvel movies that have come out aren't just direct adaptations. They take little elements like, for instance, Thor Ragnarok takes a little bit of Planet Hulk, a little bit of some of the Thor stories from recent memory and adds that all together and then comes up with his own original story.
And they managed to do it justice and keep the essence of the story and the character, whereas over at the WB side, they just they deconstruct it and it's just flat and there's nothing behind it. It's really
I just think they don't understand. They haven't read as many.
No, they don't understand the mythology.
Right.
Both companies are doing risky things.
Yes,
because you can't cover all the canon; it'll take forever. So they have to shrink it down and make it fit into a 2-hour movie and cut things out and mash things together. But Feige understands it better.
Yes,
that's all. He gets it. There's certain people that get it.
Yep.
And get why it's good and what makes it work. And Snyder doesn't really get it. So he does understand Marvel. Marvel is a very unique company, and he understands what makes it work to a degree. I don't think he's bulletproof. He's made a couple of things that I didn't like, but for the most part, overall, he does get it.
Yes, he does, and he's pushing the envelope, and he has created something, that we've dreamed of since we were kids, something that's never been done before. There's a bit in the article where early on in his office, he had this one Marvel Universe poster, and it was just this poster with like 1,000 characters on there, and he would just look at it every day. It kind of inspired him. When Marvel Studios started, the risk that they took, we forget how risky it was. From the article, it says, borrowing money by offering up the film rights to its biggest characters as collateral, tirelessly pitching the idea to skeptical foreign buyers, Feige and Arad finally hired 3 directors to make movies for Marvel Studios. Favreau for Iron Man, Louis Leterrier for The Incredible Hulk, and Edgar Wright for Ant-Man. And of course, only Favreau becomes part of the legacy. He says, people forget Iron Man was an independent movie. At this point, Avi Arad is like, I really don't want to manage a whole cinematic universe. He steps down, and at 33 years old, Kevin Feige was officially in charge of the first significant independent studio since DreamWorks.
Oh shit!
At fucking 33, he's in charge. Amazing.
I could have done it.
You could have done it 10 years ago, maybe?
Easily.
So Marvel Studios has the rights to 7,000 characters. And quote from him, he says, Marvel is 22 movies in. We've got another 20 movies on the docket that are completely different from anything that's come before intentionally. So, he's he's made the movie audience comic book readers to the point where they know everyone's origin and they could jump right in to this Infinity War movie and everyone's on board. It's like reading an event comic on the big screen. It's amazing what he's done. Oh, just fucking incredible.
There's a lot of video essays online that have come out where Marvel basically came out like this shared universe came out at the right time, because the viewing platform for movies is so blurred now. You can watch movies on your phone and your iPad and all those devices on your computer, and all those devices are connected to the internet.
Yep.
So you can now look up who these characters are and
real easily.
And easily and quickly find out, oh, I can go on this Wikipedia and find out who Black Panther is. So the information is so readily available that now this shared universe is, everyone is well aware of everything.
I see that all the time when I see movies. Like, I'll listen to, like, there's usually couples, and usually the girl's like, who's this guy? And then they bring up the Wikipedia, or somebody asks, what's his deal? And these conversations in the theater, and it just brings me joy. I was like, wow, look at this. Everybody's fucking knows these people. Rugs, they're ruining our thing. Everybody's onto it.
Well, another thing that I don't like about it is that it makes people instantly think that they're experts on the comics. And they don't know shit. They've never read a story. They're like, well, I read the Wikipedia page. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know shit.
But they've read the
read
Wikipedia
it for like 20
page.
years.
Yeah.
You didn't read these stories in the way that they were meant to be read when they came out, at the time they came out. You're reading a fucking a synopsis and thinking, oh, well, okay, I understand the character. But no, you don't.
But is that just us being snooty? Like, shouldn't we include everyone and welcome everyone to this instead of being like that? I don't know.
Well, that's how we get shitty movies. That's how we got these Batman movies and this fucking Superman movie, because people are.
That's a good point.
You got people who are like, yeah, do Injustice. Do it in the video game.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not it, you asshole. That's not
evil,
the fucking
like
thing.
The comics. Wait, what? That's not it.
But that's how I know it, because I played a stupid video game.
That I'll agree. I will agree with that. That is how you get Batman running around in Batman v Superman with a gun.
Yeah,
the entire movie, because you have a guy that reads The Dark Knight Returns and sees one panel where he's carrying around a gun, doesn't understand the significance of the fact that that is a moment that's been built up a very long time.
He's like,
for Batman to be
shoots
holding.
guns?
Yeah,
Cool.
he's just like, cool, Batman shoots guns. That's a cool look. I'm going to put this in the movie. And now he's going to shoot guns the entire movie.
Yeah, he saw Batman the movie where the Batmobile has guns on it, and when he goes to Access Chemicals and blows the shit up, he goes, well, I guess the Batmobile is supposed to have guns on it.
Right.
So, and that's what Nolan did too.
They all put
Nolan's
guns
the same way. Nolan read... I bet he's read The Dark Knight, The Long Halloween, and The Killing Joke, and made those movies.
He's like, I know enough to make my own version now.
I mean, he really ran away from all the other Batman stuff.
That's true. That's true.
The two of the movies are really good, but it's not faithful.
To really be faithful to Batman, you have to or any of the characters, you have to kind of understand it. I mean, Feige kind of does in a way, because he's able to steal the essence of these characters and boil them down.
Yeah.
But I really feel like a lot of people think they know about comics just because they could just Google it now.
You're probably right.
I would hope they go pick up some comics and read, which would be what you want them to do, but you can just fucking read it on Wikipedia or watch the video that recaps the whole thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, Imran, that is a law. People are not going to go and read the comics.
It takes a lot of work.
It takes more work than just watching.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, before there was Wikipedia and all this information out there and all these videos, all these YouTube videos of how to appreciate comics. Let me explain it to you. You had to actually read it. Like, you had to. Like, there was no other way. There was no other way to get this information except for experiencing the media.
Or you had to find your nerd friend and have him fucking explain it to you.
That was you, Imran.
That was me.
But 9 times out of 10, you had to actually read it.
Yeah. Now,
you had to.
Now there's cliff notes for everything.
You couldn't be like, I just read this graphic novel called The Crow. Go Google it. No, you're like, let me borrow that from you. Let me read it, and then we'll fucking talk about it ad nauseum until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And how it changed your life.
Dude, The Crow was awesome. The first time I read that thing, I was like, holy shit, this is the best shit ever.
I mean, they're not going to know that. They're never they're going to see a movie. They're going to be like, oh, that's The Crow. And then that's it. And then they're going to just not even understand that experience. You want the whole greatness of comics in film. You got to try and translate what's in those books to the screen. And that's not really what's happening a lot of the time.
Yeah, they're being co-opted. They're being used to create a new thing. But look, listener,
and the comics business is not getting bigger. It's getting smaller.
It's definitely not helping sales for comics.
What happens too is, unfortunately for hardcore comic fans or just comic fans in general, is what's portrayed on mass media, whether it be TV or movies, is the perception of how the character really is. So, for instance, like go back to Batman, most people now probably think Batman carries around a gun and kills people. Most probably people think Superman is this fucking flying dick. Most people think Spider-Man got his suit from Tony Stark. Like that's just how it's going to be until a new movie comes out and changes
it's the same thing that between 1966 to like 1986, people thought Batman was a campy joke for like decades.
But isn't that unfair? That one thing that was shot in a 2-month period that was worked on for maybe a year supersedes 30 years of established canon.
Very unfair.
It's very unfair.
I think
it ruins
that's wrong.
the character retroactively. Yeah. Like, that's really crazy. And I mean, that's kind of how I felt about Spider-Man and Spider-Man Homecoming. I was like, now this is going to be everybody's Spider-Man, and they're missing out on the whole beauty of like an adult Peter Parker and all the dynamics that brings. We're going to be stuck in this bullshit for the next 5 years.
I don't think that like other properties get bogged down in that shit. Like, you make a new James Bond movie, it doesn't erase the other ones. Like, the other ones still stand and they still count. Like, some people like think GoldenEye is their favorite movie, or some people think that's true. Dr. No is their favorite movie.
This in comic books, everything just fucking reboots the old thing and becomes the new thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Any final thoughts about the MCU and this trailer in general?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens after this Infinity story is over. Like how they keep it going, who they choose to put in the spotlight.
What the next phase is. I'm just shocked that they pulled this off. Like how in a movie, give me a 3-hour movie, give me a 2.5-hour movie. How the fuck are you still going to pull this off? I can't wait. Anthony, final thoughts.
2-part movie. I mean, I'm fucking pumped, man. Of course, this is the culmination.
Dude, and then we just have to wait a year for the next one. Holy shit. What?
Can we make predictions?
Okay. Sure.
Based on the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, give me what you expect this movie to be to you. Like, just seeing the trailer, what do you think it's going to be? What's your expectations of this movie on a number scale? On a scale of 1 to 10? Or where do you want to place it in the Marvel movies?
Oh, man. I think
you can go either way.
With the factory in pure spectacle, I don't think the story will be crazy elaborate. I just think they're going to run off emotion and spectacle, and they could make this movie a 4 and I'd probably still like it, but I honestly think with the Russo brothers doing it that it's going to be like a 7 or 8.
Look, you know what else is funny? I also thought of like last year, Warner Brothers gave us Batman vs Superman, and then quickly Marvel gave you Captain America Civil War. Kind of the movie about the same thing, just done better. This year, Justice League. And then Marvel does this, and it has similar themes. Big bad from space. Everybody's got to come together and stop him. But it just reiterates our motto. DC does it first. Marvel does it better. This 3 and 4 should be the best fucking things they do. Like, I may have too high expectations, but this build up, this many people, I'm just afraid it may be too big even for them. And it just doesn't land how it should. But this should be like the best movie they've made yet.
I feel like there's so many moving parts to this.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of ways that it could completely come crashing down. Or, I mean, not even come crashing down, but misstep or fuck up things here and there. But I think overall it's going to be successful. I think it's going to be no lower than a 5. And I don't think it's going to be a 10. But it'll be between a 9 and a 5. It'll be somewhere in that better than average category.
It better be. And we talked about like they have yet to make a dud. They make from mediocre to really good movies.
I want to say this. I think it's going to give us some great visuals. We're not going to be bored like we were with Justice League, where we're just not seeing anything new. I think we're going to see some crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, like the beauty is we have all these established characters and their relationships and the different dynamics. Like, there's no way this can be boring.
Even what they didn't show, which I think will happen either in this one or more than likely in the next one, is the team shot, not the team shot we got where at the end, but the team shot where everybody's there. Yeah.
I mean, you could have a scene where they're all hanging out in the cafeteria waiting for lunch, and it would still be a fucking 7. Like, that would be fine. That would be entertaining enough. Like, how could this... It's super risky, but I can't imagine this being boring, because just think of all the characters and all the history.
It's super risky, but it's also super ambitious.
Well, big risk will give you big rewards. Exactly. This could be the next big $1 billion movie.
How many characters do you think they're going to introduce into this movie?
Whoa.
That we haven't seen before.
Holy shit, is there even time to do that? Well, we have the Black Order. We've not seen the Black Order, and it seems like they're going to take a big part in this. But do they even have time to introduce like a Captain Marvel or new characters?
You also got a, what's her name? Girl that played Catwoman?
Anne Hathaway?
Oh, fuck her. Old Catwoman.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer is the OG Janet Van Dyne.
You know, and we didn't see any
Ant-Man or any Wasp.
You know what? Ant-Man could have been in every scene in this trailer, and we just didn't see him.
He just could have been sitting on Cap's shoulder.
Yeah, he could be there. I don't know. But yeah, we didn't see some of the Guardians. We haven't seen Ant-Man. There's a couple of characters that are not in here. But Jesus Christ, just take all my money now, Marvel. What are you doing? Fuck. Okay, let's take a quick break. I'm going to play some promos, and we'll be back and continue to geek out with more news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey listener, Dutch here from Voice from the Underground, the podcast. My co-host and I want to invite you to check out our little corner of the podcast verse. At Voice from the Underground, we talk about all the crazy happening around us and try to make a little bit of sense out of the nonsense with little to no results. If the idea of hearing 3 semi-intelligent, outspoken nerds talk about politics, social issues, current events, sports, movies, pretty much anything that we decide to talk about because, well, it's our show, appeals to you, grab your shovel and come on down to the underground, and then consult a qualified psychotherapist. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, just not where you buy your weed.
Voice from the Underground.
Hey, this is the Toph, host of the Gravity Beard Podcast, a variety show with interviews and discussions on a wide range of topics. Our guests have included a viral YouTube star, a former child actor. We've even had a guy on who may have solved the D.B. Cooper case. It's a delicious box of audio chocolate. You never know what you'll get. Find it on Podbean, iTunes, and other places you listen to podcasts. It's the Gravity Beard Podcast. It's what your ears will want to be listening to.
Forgive the interruption, but I believe this requires your attention.
If you ever believed Captain America was on the U.S. Olympic soccer team.
If you ever thought that the Winter Soldier was that brace yourselves guy on the internet.
And if you ever wondered just what would a raccoon do with a machine gun.
Then don't let another week pass you by without tuning into
Mighty Marvel Geeks.
Mighty Marvel Geeks is your show about all things Marvel.
With news, rumors, commentary, and interviews.
As well as our weekly recommendations on what to pick up on New Comic Book Day.
Official consulting hours are between 8 and 5 every other Thursday.
That's Mighty Marvel Geeks on WeebieGeeks.net, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts.
Doc and Nerd.
Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. If you have been enjoying the show and you want more show, you should sign up for our fan club. Jock and Nerd. Just visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where there's a bunch of tiers you can pledge, but starting as $1 a month, you can give more. Feel free to give more, but $1 or more will get you access to an exclusive podcast feed. You put in your podcast app and you get hours and hours of bonus content. What's in this feed? Well, there's post shows after we record. We hang out and we record some more geeky stuff. There's instant reactions. For example, this week I have put up my instant reaction to The Punisher on Netflix because I knew Anthony had to start watching it. I'm like, I'm going to forget everything. Let me just give you a couple of minutes of what I thought after watching episode 13. That's up there right now. And also, Ruggs and I, we may do a preview of the Punisher review for the post show for this episode.
We'll give it a good go on
We'll
it.
give it a good go, see what happens. You can check out the post show from last episode. And also, there's some extra content with me and David Malofsky from A Place to Hang Your Cape. If you have been listening to the show, we had that weird phone call, that weird fake phone call about Scott Meridew leading up to Podcaper's Halloween musical, which is really great. You should go listen because we're all three of us are in it. Rugboy plays Prince Rugboy. Anthony plays the Knight. I play the Fool. And there's even a whole song about Rugboy sung to the tune of a Disney song from Aladdin. It's quite hilarious. I'll put a link in the show notes. But Malofsky gave me a little behind the scenes making of the musical. They put a lot of work in there. That's kind of interesting. And also, his brother was a producer on the hit podcast from this summer, Missing Richard Simmons. So I get some behind the scenes stuff from his point of view. About when that podcast got all popular and it was in the media. It was an interesting conversation. Check it out. Join the fan club, jockanerd.com/Patreon. Okay, I know we've been talking about Justice League a lot, and we probably don't want to talk about it anymore, but here we are. We're going to talk about it some more because new information has come to light. Here's something I thought was interesting from Screen Rant regarding Mustache Gate. How, they spent shitloads of money removing Henry Cavill's mustache because he was shooting Mission Impossible 6, and it's evident in every scene, and it's super distracting. I don't know how you don't notice it. I've seen people comment that, I didn't even notice the lip. Go fuck yourself. You didn't notice? Come on. How can you not notice the fucking lip? So there's a Reddit user who's been verified by the mods on Reddit by the name of LDN_film, who is a visual effects artist on Justice League. He's been dropping a lot of interesting bits. He said Warner Brothers offered to pay to have facial hair added to Cavill for Mission Impossible 6 so that they could shave his mustache ahead of the Justice League reshoots. LDN Film said the VFX team did test effects footage on Cavill as Superman to prove how much easier it is to add a beard/mustache than hide it. However, Paramount rejected the offer. They were like, oh, fuck no, you ain't fucking up our movie.
They still could have had bearded Superman.
They could have so if it's that much easier, why didn't they just do bearded Superman? That is a good question.
Black costume, beard, long hair. You'd be good.
Oh my God. So,
and then at the end of the movie, you have a shot of him and there's all his glory, whatever.
I think Paramount was like, you guys are going to fuck up our film. No, fuck no.
Yeah, no, there's no, if you're Paramount, why the hell do you help out another? Yeah, right? You don't do that. You worry about your film. That's their problem.
And it was probably cheaper for Warner Brothers to do that than what they did.
Whatever was cheaper or not, it is a colossal mistake.
It's a mistake and it's a clusterfuck. It's one of the reasons. As
Rugboy has stated, it takes you out of the movie every goddamn time.
And immediately, since it's in the very first scene of the movie, the very first frame, you're like, wow, what happened?
Yeah.
Another cool bit I found, somebody figured out the identity of that Green Lantern that died in the history lesson flashback, which was a fucking pretty cool scene. I keep thinking about how badass that scene was, and it was full with Easter eggs. Another Reddit user, Stranding Death, has put together a very convincing argument, saying that the Green Lantern who died at Steppenwolf's hand was Yalin Gur. Yalin Gur. Nobody knows who this is. So,
Yalin Gur?
Yalin Gur.
I think he's from Kazakhstan.
Yalin Gur. He was my Uber driver the other day.
Yes. Shit.
I believe.
Yes, Yalin.
No, in the comic books, there's clips. He's got a whole thing where he takes comic book panels and shows you, and it looks like him, but he's this weird red creature with pointy ears and a snout. And it looks like he hasn't been around since the 30s, the way this is drawn. So it's a very obscure, deep cut. What sector does he patrol? I don't even think they have that.
Earth sector.
Oh, he would have been Earth sector, which is like 3814.
Jesus, that is real fucking nerdy,
is
dude.
that right? If I got that right.
Oh, are you? Oh, I thought you actually knew that.
No, I don't know. I guessed. I don't have it in here. I think it's 3814.
Yeah, if you got that right, you did not guess.
That's crazy.
You went off prior knowledge, you asshole.
So Yalin Gur, I may have seen that somewhere. Finally, for Justice League, there was another great article, similar to the Vanity Fair article, but an article describing how not to put together a shared universe.
The one where they talked about
yes, from the rap.
Yeah, and how they talked about how real fucked up this got.
Yep. Shout out to listener Trevon Brady on Twitter who tweeted it at us, and that's where I saw it first. But this is it's similar to the Vanity Fair article. It kind of breaks down the whole story of how Justice League became a Frankenstein. A couple of interesting things to note. It does start with Christopher Nolan. Like, you could blame a lot of this on Nolan. After he finished his Batman trilogy, they wanted him to do a Man of Steel reboot, but he didn't want to direct it. He opted out and he picked the Zack Snyder. They made Man of Steel, but the Justice League, as you've heard our review, it needed more time. It needed to push back its release date because clearly the shit was restructured and it wasn't done. But reading this article, you find out that people's pride and their bonuses were more important to get this movie out on the date. They keep saying how Warner Brothers is a studio that likes to project strength, moving, and also this merger between
project strength while failing.
There's a lot. There is a lot of crazy shit in here. So, also they did want to remove Zack Snyder from Justice League. You know, the tragedy of his daughter committing suicide ultimately forced him to step away, but they really wanted him out early, but he was so far into pre-production that
he was already shooting the scene.
Yes,
he wasn't in pre-production.
Yes.
Yeah.
These couple of paragraphs are amazing. It says, after the disappointment of Batman v Superman, the individual with deep knowledge of Warner Brothers said studio executives repeatedly went to Silverman to suggest removing Snyder from Justice League. The individual said DC president John Berg was sent to the set for the better part of a year to oversee production out of budget concerns. The insider said Silverman was quite harsh on Zack when BVS underwhelmed audiences, but he didn't fire him. Removing a director is a major distraction in any film, and it would be a sign of serious trouble on a tentpole designed to support a larger universe. They were already in deep prep on Justice League, and it would have cost a fortune. There's stickiness to a director because there's so much cost to unstick him, the insider said. Warner's is a studio that, almost to a fault, always wants to project strength.
You're reading the whole article.
No, I'm just reading that part. But it goes on to say, this is going to come up again in another article. This merger, we had talked, I think, many months ago, about AT&T and Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers planning to, AT&T planning to buy Warner Brothers. One was buying the other. And the Justice Department is really suspicious. They don't want this to be a monopoly. So moving the film could have projected weakness in this merger. They didn't want to do that. All this article is crazy because it breaks down everything. And they run out of time with the mustache. And they did as much as they could by the November 17th release date. What a mess.
How long did they have to work on the mustache? Like, how many months is we talking about here?
It was probably just a few months at the end.
I'm looking at this. It doesn't say.
I don't think it says in the article, but it says...
when did the reshoots happen? When did the Whedon reshoots happen?
Well, but this is... We're not sure because he was hired on before to write reshoots before Snyder left.
Yeah.
But he could have been there even earlier.
Basically, they said, fuck this. Fuck the Snyder guy. We're going to get Whedon on to make this movie funny. And then after his daughter died, were trying to rob the movie from him. So he just fucking said, fuck, I can't do this. And he left. And then they said, perfect. We'll hang this off to Whedon to finish.
Yeah, Whedon was already there.
And he's like, well, I'm going to reshoot some shit. So when did that take place? That was when Mustache Gate would have been. So that'll give you the time from then to like a month before the movie opens. It should be done.
In May is when they stepped away, I think, from the production.
So then you would have like a June, July,
August, September.
Yeah.
So you can't make a fucking face in 4 months? I don't buy that. I'm not buying it.
I think they needed. I mean, the mustache is terrible. They needed to just delay the film.
Yes.
They should have
I would say 2 months to do the mustache is all you really
I don't know.
There's so many issues, not even with the mustache, but just with the general, like, it's a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah, that was just one of the things, like, that he lightened it up as much as he could by the release date.
But even if you lighten it up, a lot of the original stuff wasn't intended to be that way.
No, so you
needed to basically make a different movie.
Yeah. You have to like reshoot half of it because this tone is not going to be changed.
It's honestly surprising that they even had a movie that I can just go, wow, that was a movie. Like it didn't piss me off.
Yes.
I think we all came to the conclusion that it was there. It wasn't bad.
I mean, the executive says here, he goes, I think Warner Brothers' biggest misstep was not pushing the release date of Justice League when Snyder had to step aside. That would have given you a great reason to be like, you know what? We have to push this back. And nobody would have argued with that. Nobody would have said shit.
You go back to the strength thing that they wanted to.
They don't want to. There's mergers going on. There's a lot of money invested. Also, there was something about they wanted to get the bonuses before the merger happened. So the executives wanted this to come out on the 17th before this merger happened, so they get their bonuses this year, and it doesn't get pushed to after some other fucking. It's just all greed and fucking studio fuckery.
Yeah,
really ruined this fucking movie.
Well, I wouldn't say ruined it. I think they tried to save it, but what they did was they did two things that were obviously, or three things that were obviously so unforgivable. Was the mustache, having like a million scenes in the trailer that are not in the movie.
Yes.
And, cutting, an hour out of the movie that you were expecting. So the movie's completely chopped out. Like there was so much more there.
A lot of the setup and a lot of the exposition and a lot of the story.
Yeah, so you're
just
at the end of the day, you get a movie.
Yes.
That is a movie, but you don't get. You feel like you feel like there was something lacking you bought a 6-pack of beer and there's a beer missing.
Yeah. It's being held together by such a thin string of a fucking plot, but there's a plot, so.
You get a movie, but you get a movie with absolutely no life behind it.
Yeah, no.
And there's things missing. You know that because you can see the mustache and you can see the trailers.
Yep.
So now you're going into it knowing that you're getting fucked.
And I mean, and you are going into this also without any kind of love for or backstory of these characters, aside from the Wonder Woman. Like, you really don't know these people. We don't get to endear them the way Marvel has done and taken the time. So ultimately, the payoff is there's no payoff. It's fucking flat because you don't really know anyone. Don't really care.
All right, let's move on.
I want to see Zack Snyder version. It still goes back and forth whether that's going to happen. They would have to put money to finish it.
I think they might do something. They might put an extended version where, I don't know, they can sit there and reassemble that movie 1,000 times.
Like, could they make their money back if they made a Zack Snyder version and like sold it on DVD or something? Like,
I would highly recommend. I know we don't do recommendations anymore, but I'd highly recommend you watch the movie Bob, where he tries to fix the DCEU. Coming off this movie.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
We can do recommendations whenever we want.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
I'm making it right now. I'm instead of when Imran wants to fucking do it.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm jock time.
Well, you acted like there was some kind of decree.
There was
I phrased that wrong.
What am I, King Tommen over here? And I banned recommend.
If you were King Tommen, you'd be a bigger pussy than you already are.
I'm jumping out the window. All right, let's move on to some Fox Marvel news. According to this one Deadline columnist, Deadline has this column where two of the writers, they kind of talk to each other. He seems to think this Disney Fox deal is back on and it's moving really quickly. This guy's name is Mike Fleming Jr., works at the Daily Variety. He says, I want to start with a juicy rumor that is fast-gaining steam in town today that Disney is progressing speedily toward that rumor acquisition of Fox. The version I heard has the Murdoch clan keeping possession of sports and news properties and the rest of TV and the film studio going to Disney. Radio silence right now from both studios. And given how Disney made the Marvel and Lucasfilm deals under the cone of silence, if this happened, we'll probably only know when it's announced. It is certainly being talked about today. Not surprisingly, the reaction around town is not enthusiasm because of the uncertainty that comes with potentially reducing a major studio to content generators under the Disney silo system.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy. So this...
I don't even know what you just said.
This Disney Fox thing could happen. Just saying, it's not dead. Insiders seem to think that it's progressing, and like you said, we're not gonna know until we know. But that would be crazy.
Man, Disney would
fucking rule the world.
They'd run the shit.
Why is the Disney Fox article link say Disney Fox deal, should shamed artists be stricken from history?
Well, there's different topics. So the rest of the article, they're talking about sexual harassment. This is the two topics.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but we were talking about this pre-show.
That was a weird, that's a weird link.
It is a weird, the title is the two things they talk about in this article.
Yeah, it's
two
weird,
separate questions, Rugs. It's not related.
I just read the link and I was like,
I was looking at the link too, and I was like, does he got the right article linked in here?
Well, it's the right article. It's just two. That's the two
and
things they
it's
talk
the
about.
Sexual harassment shit. God.
Let's talk about the other part of the MCU, and that's the one on television, in that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, 2-hour season premiere tomorrow as we record, so by the time this show posts, you will have seen it. So while we don't have it, we do have the first 17 minutes of episode 1 of season 5.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to watch the whole thing in its entirety.
Okay, I'll put it in here, but there's no reason to put it in here. Anthony, did you get to watch this at all?
No, dude, I didn't watch any of last
That's
season.
a good point. It's a good start, I'll tell you that. It's almost like a whole different show. It's very sci-fi horror.
Cool.
There may be time travel involved.
Your time travel.
They're definitely in space. It's crazy. So, yeah, we'll check in after. I'm excited for the season 5, and I think that's got to be the last season.
Now, speaking of the elephant that's not in this room.
Yes. What is that?
There is a crisis on Planet X or Earth X.
Okay, so I had that in here and I took it out, but Ruggs, did you watch that?
No.
Oh.
I watched. No, I started to watch it and I fell asleep.
I watched it.
Is it good?
It's better than last year, and I gotta say, it's almost a better Justice League movie than the Justice League movie. Now, granted,
Say no more, because I didn't watch it yet.
It's pretty good. I mean, you know the setup. Let me give you the setup. Crisis on Earth X. As we know, in the CW Arrowverse, there's 52 Earths. Well, there's a 53rd Earth, and this is from the comics. It's Earth X, a world where Hitler won World War II, and Nazis rule everything. Oh, shit. Let that sink in. This is a Hitler Nazi run alternate reality. So you see evil versions of our heroes played by, Stephen Amell, Melissa Benoist. It's very good. And unlike the last one, which was the Dominators and kind of didn't have any effect on the rest of the show, this one, dude, people die. Shit happens that changes the show and relationships. Like, it's very well integrated. I really enjoyed it. And
how many episodes was it?
It was 4 episodes. It was 2 on Monday.
You don't need to really watch the shows to watch this.
This one, you don't.
Okay.
This one, they explain
was it
a lot.
over Superman, Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and what Legends?
Legends of Tomorrow.
It's 4 episodes?
In that exact order, yes.
Is that still the 4 shows that come out every week?
Yes,
or is there
and Black Lightning is going to start in January.
Okay.
Which is the new one. Yeah.
I want to check that out.
It's pretty good. I think you'll like it, dude. And I mean, I thought it was this is how you do fucking
I don't
Justice
believe I'm going
League.
to like it, Imran. I'm going to watch it.
Just to see all of them on screen, this is how you do Justice League.
Haven't you seen them all on screen? I don't mean to hate on it.
I haven't watched any of these shows, so it'd be nice to just do 4 episodes and just be out.
There's new legends, actually. There's new people and there's new legends. But you get the Arrow back, the back team, the little street team. But it's it was great, and it's all framed around Barry and Iris's wedding. So they're getting married.
It's tough for me to get back into that after watching Thrones.
Yeah. Speaking of Game of Thrones, let's move on to the final topic that I have programmed for us here. And it's kind of the discussion. So last episode we did Game of Thrones season 6. In our first time run through review, I'm in 4 episodes, season 4.
Oh, what's the last episode
7,
you saw?
Sorry, season 7. The last thing I saw,
spoiler alert,
if you haven't seen season 7, was the Dothraki army with dragons charging towards the Lannister army, who
isn't that fucking great?
We're supposed to be at Castle Rock, but it was a decoy to take all their gold and give it to Bravos.
You explain this correctly. House Tyrell's gold.
They just fucking killed everyone. Oh shit, I forgot. Oliana Tyrell's death was amazing. They go and they kill all the Tyrells, steal their gold because they have a debt with Bravos and the what are they called?
Iron Bank.
The Iron Bank, and they got no money. They want to pay back their debt. So
don't narrate the entire thing.
Okay.
Just tell me what you thought of it.
So the last thing I saw was Jaime Lannister running towards the injured Drogon.
Yeah,
because he had a spear in him, and the dragon shoots fire at him, and the last minute, I think it's Braun, knocks him off the horse, and he falls into the water, and then it just fades to dark as he's falling.
Isn't that fucking great when the dragons and the Dothraki are massacring the Lannister army?
Holy shit, it's fantastic.
It's cinematic.
They're burning all those motherfuckers up just down the line. I was like, you know what? So far this season moves way faster than any of the other seasons.
It's glorious. Isn't it getting better and better?
There's like a battle in every episode.
What did you think of the scene, the first time Dany meets Jon Snow?
Oh my God, that was great too. Again, two characters that have not met, and they both want things from each other. And she's sitting, Dragonstone is just gorgeous. I don't know where they shoot that. But
I think it's like Ireland or something.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful. She goes home. It's got all the feels. And yeah, he's like, I need your help. You need my help. And she's like, I have 3 dragons. Why do I need your help? And he's like, these fuckers from the north. They're coming. They're going to come get you. So they do ultimately decide to help each other. And man, it moves. It moves a lot faster.
That scene when they first meet, and like you can just slice the tension.
Yeah.
Because you know that both characters, you want them to come together, but they
don't trust each other.
Are reasonably skeptical of one another.
And like Davos has to explain what John's been through, and John doesn't really know what Dany's been through. Like to him, she must seem like just some rich girl whose father was on the throne, and she's
can't
like,
really tell her everything he's been through.
No.
Because he keeps that close to the vest.
Yeah, you can't play that card.
Wait, what card is that?
Davos is like,
he almost
died
gives,
for his...
he almost gives that away, and he stops.
And he's like, what?
He's like, he stops. He's like, he's giving his life, and then he kind of stops himself.
Yeah.
God damn, though, this show fucking moves. The cold open, the Arya as Walder Frey was so fucking good in the first episode, because I was confused. I was like, is this a flashback? What is this from before? And then slowly, the guy playing Walder Frey was amazing, because he starts dropping lines where you're like, he starts insulting them, and then he just fucking kills all of them, and she takes her
the
thing.
subtle acting by the guy that plays Walder Frey, where his eyes are moving around as he's saying everything. It's great.
Because they all drink, and he doesn't drink, and he tells the girl, not for you. And you're like, what's going on?
Did you get the scene with Euron?
The gift?
Yes, the gift.
Well, he goes to Cersei, and he's like, I want to be here. I want to be married. I want to be your king.
Have you seen the gift yet?
Yes.
Like what the gift is?
The gift is Ilaria Sands and Yara Greyjoy.
You got the attack on the...
That was amazing.
Greyjoy fleet. Yeah. Okay.
Every episode has like this epic battle in it so far. I was like, how could they sustain this? And it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Well, that they did exactly what I said that the Defenders should do.
Yeah.
They cut the episodes down and spend more money on each episode.
Yeah.
And it's the pacing is definitely picked
you
up.
Got
like
3 more left?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're done. And then
it's done.
And you're with everyone else. But you guys
were right. Like, stuff that would have taken a lot longer, like, it's just fucking boom, boom, boom.
It's a fan service season.
Yes, but I'm loving it so far.
Yeah,
Holy shit. Every scene is like, this is another thing I wanted to mention. I never said in any of our reviews. Like, this is a great example of a show that has absolutely no filler. Every scene, every look, every line, every camera movement is important. Like, there's nothing wasted. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it is.
It's so tough.
And this is the same guy that a year ago was like, not watching it.
I was like, nope. Fuck it. It's too pop, man. It's fucking amazing. And,
me and you were both on everyone's watching it, so we're not going to watch it.
I'm also kind of glad I got to binge the whole thing in a couple of months. I'll tell you.
It is fun.
That's great.
The binging part was really fun.
It would have been a lot more torture to wait for it, but I'm glad I could because you can really see how it changes. And like, I look at Arya returns to Winterfell, and you think about the first season. All the fucking Starks are together back at Winterfell, just like the first season.
Most of the Starks.
Most of them. But like,
ones that aren't dead.
You start to see more Starks on screen. I was like, holy shit, there's like 3 Starks on screen. When's the last time we've seen 3 Starks in the same place?
All right, we're getting all into this.
My point of all this is the race for the next Game of Thrones. Everyone, because it's got one more season, and HBO is, they gotta be a little bit worried. The news is there's 5 spinoffs in development.
Whoa!
But only one of them are going to air. They're kind of they'll pick the best one and maybe maybe do the others. But there's 5 total they're playing with. But the fact that HBO, when the show started, did not have to compete with really all the streaming media, your Hulus and your Netflix and your Amazons and your Apples. HBO is the channel that is the grandfather of subscription-based television. Like, they are the golden fucking whatever. They are the prime example. They are the ones that everyone looks to. Whether they can keep up this relevance and keep up this buzz is, I think they got to be shaking in their boots a little bit. I have an article here from the Washington Post I will post in the show notes. This one bit, this is pretty much how you can sum up what HBO is going through. It's the relationship between revenue and costs. Because we talked about how season 8, they're spending $15 million an episode on Game of Thrones. That's crazy. HBO's Tale of Two Cities in 2016, the company's subscription revenue reached $5 billion for the first time last year. But its programming costs were sky high. $2.18 billion, up 10% from 2 years before. And now, can there even be another Game of Thrones? Because viewing is so fractured amongst all these different streaming platforms. You know, Thrones had this amazing built-in audience and HBO money. Can there even be anything like this again?
No.
Right? I don't think that you can have another Game of Thrones and have the same effect that this show has had and the quality.
I think you could have great shows,
yes,
but it's not going to be to this scale.
Right? Nothing to this level.
Unless it's like driving subscriptions up through the roof. You're not like, people are signing up for HBO, like getting HBO Go and all those other things to get HBO and paying for it. There's no way. So it's just too not cost.
Exactly. And the question HBO is struggling with is not that is our stuff good enough or people are willing to pay for it, because they've proven that. The question now is, will people pay for everything? And, you know, who starts losing business? Because you can't possibly pay for all these things. We have CBS All Access competing with its Star Trek, trying to make that their Game of Thrones. And I hear it's very good. It's gotten a lot of great reviews. It probably helped their subscriptions for All Access. Amazon, here's what they're dealing with. This happened earlier, I think this month. Amazon, unbelievable little deal here. They have bought the rights for Lord of the Rings. They are going to do a prequel series on Amazon. They want it to be the next Game of Thrones. Here's the crazy part. They paid $250 million just for the rights.
Oh, shit.
Just for the rights to make a show. That becomes the biggest TV rights deal in history for a literary property.
Right.
For Lord of the Rings.
For Lord of the Rings, and it's going to be a prequel
on Amazon.
And this has already
Amazon.
It's already been explored in 6 movies.
Right. Is this a good idea, first of all,
Recently.
Ruggs? Would you watch this, and will this be the next Game of Thrones? Does it have the potential?
I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I think it's a good property. It is like the originator of its kind.
It inspired George Martin to write Game of Thrones, clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good property. I think, though, I don't know, a lot of people are fatigued on it.
Yes.
And it's also been locked in by the other movies. So there's not really a lot of wiggle room for them to kind of be their own thing. But who knows? There's a really good story to be told there. There's what they're talking about doing is I have to look up the name of there's a name of the part of the Lord of the Rings that they want to do, which is like all the wars.
Oh, okay.
There's all, because you know when you watch the Lord of the Rings, they talk about this big war that happens where Sauron and all that stuff comes in the ring, all that stuff that's in like the first 5 minutes of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
They want to do that story.
Oh, okay.
Of all the wars that led up to it. And that's kind of like a Game of Thrones thing. There's a lot of people competing and creating the rings and all this other stuff. So that could be interesting.
Speaking of fake history, the Game of Thrones, there's some hints about the timeline for the prequels, because they've said it's not going to be about Robert Baratheon's rebellion. So, but that leaves open about 12,000 years of Game of Thrones history that they could play in for these prequels. In the meantime, Sci-Fi has another plan. This is what they're going to do.
Jesus Christ, Sci-Fi? Are we talking? We're talking about Sci-Fi?
Sci-Fi is adapting another George R.R. Martin novella called Night Flyers. It has got a 10-episode first season thing, and they've gotten a substantial budget, and it's about space exploration gone horribly wrong. The screener article says it's
Isn't that Alien?
Well, yeah, it's like The Expanse or Alien. But look, think of George R. R. Martin, how he likes to kill his characters. Martin himself was a little unsure how they were going to make this one book stretch over seasons of TV. He said, honestly, at first I was baffled as to how they hoped to get a series out of my story, since at the end of the novella, pretty much everyone is dead. It was a horror story after all. But in May, UCP got me a copy of the script and I saw how he dealt with it. It was a good read. And yes, I came away with a better idea of where they find a few seasons. So could another George R. R. Martin adaptation be the next Game of Thrones?
No.
Not on Sci-Fi.
Not on Sci-Fi.
I don't think they got the money to pull it. I'm curious about Night Flyers. It sounds
Right, you're not this
Sci-fi
stupid.
series are just they're okay, but they're not like on the level of talk about. They're not even in anywhere in the same galaxy as Game of Thrones.
Sci-fi, come on, man, dude. When people bring up sci-fi, you laugh. You're like, isn't that the show that's the station that shows Sharknado?
Yeah.
Then you're going to compare that to Game of Thrones on HBO.
It sounds like, though, they're throwing a little bit more money.
I don't care how much money they throw at. Sci-fi has no cachet with the general audience. Everyone thinks of sci-fi as a joke. They don't even spell sci-fi correctly.
But they look, to their credit, they've had some great shows. That show,
no, they do. They've had like Battlestar Galactica, still one of the best shows ever made.
The Continuum was great. The Expanse is good. Grant Morrison's Happy adaptation with Chris Maloney is starting.
I'm telling you,
December.
As the casual fan, sci-fi is not the place to be.
But don't you?
No, not anymore. But it used to be.
Right.
It used to be very, very respectable. And if you haven't watched Battlestar Galactica, fucking watch it. It's great.
Battlestar Galactica is great, except for the last season, which I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like.
Well, even then, now that you know what, in retrospect, it was a genius ending.
Okay, I should watch it again
because I never thought that last season was good. I thought it was shit.
Yeah.
But now, as we're seeing technology like kind of fuck people's lives up like every day, you see like the people getting accused of things and all these people just saying shit on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, they got the right idea with this ending.
By the way, if you've seen Black Mirror, like Black Mirror has predicted so many things that are happening in their dystopian.
Technology is fucking everybody over,
dude. Everything that's it's in Black Mirror. They totally called it, and that show is scary because it's real. But I would argue that just having Martin's name may bring people to give it a chance on the side.
Well, Game of Thrones. Going away, there's 2-3 different ways they can deal with this. They could either lean hard into making another Game of Thrones, or Lord of the Rings, which is in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, you really don't have that many properties that have a lot of cachet. I always loved. I said Dungeons and Dragons and Dragonlance. I mean, it's not as well known, but I mean, I think they have a lot of lore. I love the characters in Dragonlance, and they have like unique enough characters that are different enough from anything that you've seen because it centers around a wizard.
Okay.
And he's a fucking badass. His name is Raceland. But if you want to look him up, his story is fucking amazing. He's like a bad guy, kind of like he's like on the edge of being evil and being good.
This is from the D&D universe?
Yeah, it's called Dragonlance.
Dragonlance, okay.
But just everything, just the story of Raceland is cool. And okay, they could do Dune if they want to go up in the sci-fi direction. They have Watchmen coming. I think they have a Watchmen series
I don't know,
coming.
which I don't know how they're going to do that. And Game of Thrones prequels, but I really think they're going to be stringing out this Game of Thrones as much as they can. They're going to fucking milk this thing.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want more Game of Thrones prequel shows? Anything but Game of Thrones will pull in people. So the race for the next Game of Thrones will be interesting. And there's still, we talked last episode, Westworld and these other shows.
Yeah, Westworld I think is going to be a nice
potential.
It depends. This whole next season could either make it jump the shark or it can make it like epic. Because where they ended the show, like it leaves it open to like so many new things.
Yeah.
And if they blow it and they fucking fuck that up, then no one's going to watch that.
But there's no dragons. That's the only problem.
No, but there could be.
There could be. There could be robot dragons. All right. Well, that's it for the news. We got an audio question. And we will wrap it up here. Audio question from listener and podcaster, Mr. Throwback Thursday, coming at you. Here it is.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Podcast? It's Mr. Throwback Thursday from the Mr. Throwback Thursday Podcast. Checking in to see how things are going. Haven't heard from you guys in a while. No, we haven't checked in with you guys in a while. I have a question for you because, you know, that's why you send messages to people, is to ask them questions to see how they're doing. After A Better Tomorrow, you know, Wu-Tang's horrible album that I was looking very, very forward to, and was let down. I'm wondering from you guys, what is one big comic book or superhero movie that you were really, really looking forward to, and then just had the rug pulled out from under you, and they just let you down flat? Yeah, I guess that's about all. Just checking in to make sure you guys are still alive, let you know we're still alive, and let you know we're still out here listening. So, till next time. Yay! Keep it classic. And always remember, new school stale, old school fresh.
Thank you, Jamie, Mr. Throwback Thursday, for the question.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question. Who wants to go first? Anybody? Any thoughts?
I can start.
Okay.
I liked the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I had really high expectations for Age of Ultron, and I walked out of that movie not feeling the same way that I did out of Avengers.
I can see that. Yeah.
It didn't let me down per se, but I just wasn't.
It didn't live up to the Avengers.
Yeah, it just didn't live up to the hype, and it wasn't what I was expecting with how Ultron would be portrayed.
That is called disappointment.
It was a little bit disappointing.
All right, I can see that, Ruggs.
I'm going to say Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay.
Because I really liked the first one. And I feel like, not that the movie was terrible, but I felt like that, I said the comedy didn't work for me. I think the jokes were bad for me. And so I was like, how did they fuck that up? I don't get it. But then again, I'm in the minority on that film, so maybe just my perception. So.
No, I can see that. For me, it's a pair of Spider-Man movies, and you could probably guess which ones. The first one being Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, of course, coming off of the second one, which was still one of the top 5.
But you're going way back there, talking about new movies.
Well, he didn't mention what time.
Oh, okay.
He didn't mention when. I'm just telling you. I remember when he said disappointment, I immediately went to Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. Both times. Spider-Man 3, though, because they were showing me like the awesome black costume in the promotional materials, and it looked badass and dark.
That movie was so fucking
And then
bad.
you got like Tobey Maguire shooting the guns and acting like a dick, and what's going on here, and the whole Venom thing's kind of wasted. I love that they gave us the only version of the black costume we've seen on screen, and it looked sick. But that was a little and then Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just the movie kept going. It should have ended.
It was nowhere near as bad as Spider-Man 3, though.
No,
I actually didn't. I thought Amazing Spider-Man 2 was worse. I thought Amazing Spider-Man 2 was worse, but Spider-Man 3 was more disappointing for me.
Yeah.
If there's a difference in,
I'll agree. I
didn't think Amazing Spider-Man 2 would be any good to begin with.
Okay, so there wasn't a lot of hype going into it. I mean, I thought they did a good job on the first one. My thing with Amazing Spider-Man 2 is like the second Sam Raimi movie was great, and I was like, okay, the second movie, they got the first one out of the way.
Yeah.
The second one, they nail it. And instead, what do? They jump to the third movie curse and shove a bunch of villains and kill the franchise.
That was your classic world building movie.
Gone wrong, that they didn't know what they were doing.
Let's not make a good movie. Let's set up a movie for future movies.
Yes, and nobody learns when these lessons happen when they're making then they made movies after that. Nobody learned. I'm looking at you, Zack Snyder. Nobody learned that doesn't work. So, and then a little bit Justice League was disappointing too, but I didn't really have that much.
I wasn't really expecting much.
Yeah, that was the thing. I wasn't expecting much. I still
really
you
walked into Justice League and Run expecting something.
A little bit.
But that's a really good pull, though. Spider-Man 3, we were because we had.
Yes.
This is the thing. You set the stage for.
Yes.
Spider-Man 2 was so good,
so fucking good. It's still good.
And you're like, wow, they're only gonna fucking kick more ass.
Right? How could they shit the bed now?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I would agree.
So
that's
the thing. Like Amazing Spider-Man. I had problems with it. I liked it, but I had problems with it. So when I was going into Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they had Jamie Foxx, and I was like, oh, this is wrong. And just the way the character that he was playing, the weird nerdy guy. That was just weird to me. And I never liked the guy they got to play Harry either in that movie.
Oh, Dane DeHaan.
Spider-Man 3 back from then.
Yeah.
For me, I was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the internet guy that I am now in terms of looking up movies.
He wasn't the jock on the jock.
No, I didn't. I literally would anytime would go into a film and be just blind and just watch a film.
Right. Without any.
All I had to base this off of was 1 and 2, and I was like, Spider-Man 3 for me was like everything I wanted in terms of expectations. Like, finally, they're doing Venom. Holy shit, they're doing the black suit.
Yep.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Yep.
And wow.
Look,
that was not good.
It's the movie that started our What the Fuck series with Dahlhauer, but I still like the movie because the scenes of him.
Oh my God, Imran, you're terrible.
Only because, dude, the scenes of him swinging in the underground subway in the black costume fighting Sandman, like that shit is still cool. Like I still think the black costume looks really good.
How can you say you like the movie? It was so bad.
Because it's Spider-Man 3 Sam Raimi. The whole trilogy holds a special place in my heart. But fuck,
you are the absolute worst.
Those 3 movies, I'm sorry. Those 3 movies hold a special place in my heart. Fuck the Mark Webb movies. But yes, very disappointing. And thanks.
I'll take Amazing Spider-Man 1 over that third one any day.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll give you that. I don't like Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. I like him as Spider-Man. I just also, before we finish, Jamie, Mr. Throwback Thursday, thanks for the question. Congratulations to them. They have a registered R official trademark on Mr. Throwback Thursday. They applied and they got it, and they just put out their 200th episode. So
get on that shit, Amber.
Congratulations. We gotta get the Circle R. David Zika has actually written in about that stuff. And when they did it, I was thinking about it, and we've had the conversation. But congrats on reaching 200 episodes. We're right behind you. This is 197. But these guys are my favorite old school hip hop podcast. To put it in context, they talk about mumble rap the way we talk about Zack Snyder. Oh, shit. Check them out, MrThrowbackThursday.com. And that's the show, Ruggs. Where can the listener find you?
On Twitter at ReallyRugBoy.
All right, and you can find us.
Find me.
JockandNerd.com for all the places you can subscribe. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd appreciate it. 5 stars. Light them up. Tell a friend. Spread the geekery.
Jock and Nerd.
And let's get going. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the jock.
He's the nerd.
And we'll peep you next time.
Go stroke a barbell.
Oh, do you even podcast?